we're going to start this webinar. Thank you very much for your time. We are really happy to have you on board for this webinar as of today. It's going to be 30 minutes. We're going to try to time box this webinar. We are once again really happy to have you on board for this webinar today, and we're going to just start with Thomas. Let's go to the presentation. The theme of the webinar today is the evolution of the European road freight rates. It's going to be composed of two main parts, the actual comment of the news as of 2021 and a perspective regarding 2022. And then we're going to jump into our smart solution. Let's go to the presentation. So today, both of the speakers, I'm really happy to have Thomas with me, Thomas Larieux, which is our CEO.
Hello, everybody.
And myself, your host, Damien, and I am the CPO, the Chief Product Officer at Upply. Let's jump into the first part regarding the comment of the news regarding the road transport in Europe.
Yeah, thank you, Damien. So we will be both on the same laptop. So it's normal if you only see the Upply logo. Just as an introduction, the aim of this webinar, it's a bit new. We are trying something different for this kind of webinar, Upply webinar, that we will try to reproduce. What is different is that we won't make a demonstration of the tool live. We use the data that we have. We use the indexes and all the tools and market insights that we have. But here, the main focus will be to try to see what's going on in the market, to give some feedback on it, to answer your questions, and finally, to try to see what is new at Upply, what are the new features that are coming, and to try to see if this answers to your needs. And if it's not the case, please feel free to ask questions directly on the Q&A, on the market trends, on what we're offering at Upply, because of course this webinar for us is a great source of insights to know what we need to develop next. Just as an introduction, you might know, for some of you, Upply, it's a company that we launched in 2018. We have a bit more than 50 employees today. And we are doing mainly three things. Two are something that we do for some years now. The market insights and what we call the smart benchmark and indexes. Market insight and smart are two tools that are based on the data that we collect at Upply, transactional data on the road transportation, sea freight and air freight. We will focus here on road transportation, but in the following months, we will have new webinars on sea freight and air freight. So what we do is collect all this data, display to our users in a benchmark way, in index way, where we aggregate the information, and then we have experts internally at Upply for the supply chain and the logistics sector, where they wrote some contents, white papers, and articles based on this data, based on external data, and this is what we call the market insights. And finally, just as a teaser, we have been asked a lot by freight forwarders, by carriers, and by shippers also on the market to help them on the automated pricing tools. So this is directly dedicated to carriers and freight forwarders to help them in working on this pricing tool. And so we have developed a strong competencies on this part, and we are launching new products to try to help people that are selling transportation, basically, to try to understand how the prices are moving and to help them in an automated pricing tool. We won't talk about it during this webinar, but if you have any questions regarding that, please feel free. Next slide. Just a quick introduction also. We will have a session dedicated to road transportation with our two main partners that are Transport Intelligence and the International Road Transportation Union in IRU within 10 days. This webinar will be dedicated to road transportation across Europe, and we will have strong analysis. I mean, the report will be a bit about 30 to 35 pages dedicated to this subject. So I strongly recommend you to register to this webinar on the Q1 2022, at least to have then the documents. Here, the webinar will be a bit lighter on this topic, but we will tackle some of the issues. Let's start. I will begin with what we call the UFI Road France index in Upply. UFI, it's for Upply Freight Index. This is all the data that we have for a full truck in France in euro per kilometer, and we see here, of course, a very high increase of the average price per kilometer for a full truck in France. This is linked, of course, with the oil cost and the diesel cost. We will see just after, but there are some strong drivers. Such as the demand that is quite high, driver shortage that is also at a high level, and many aspects that shows that prices of transportation are skyrocketing. This is 6 months in a row that we have a high record price since the beginning of the UFI, and this is not 2019, but much more in the past. So these are highest that we see every month. And if we look at the price, I just had it here on the slides, the CNR Professional Diesel Index, where we see there is a correlation, not that perfect. Sometimes we see the diesel prices decreasing a bit more than the prices in France, but here we see the very strong increase in the last months. That is seen a bit in the UFI, but not completely. And therefore, we anticipate the UFI to increase again next month, and to keep this increase over the year to come because of the diesel price, but because also of many other factors that we will see just after.
I saw someone raising hands. Please feel free to ask your question in the Q&A section. We are trying to answer all of them at the same time as Thomas doing the presentation. So yeah, you can ask your question within the Q&A section. Feel free.
Thanks. If we go, I use the France here example, but we have it also on other countries in Europe, and we will see just after some other countries. Here, we take the comparison between the UFI that we have seen before, but here this is a split between the spot and the contractual. And what is quite interesting, and we see it in other countries, of course, in Europe, is that before we had some fluctuations that were, the spot, of course, was usually going, it's more volatile than the contractual. But as we can see, since the end of COVID, or at least since the beginning of 2021, we have the spot prices that are keep increases compared to the contractual one, meaning that the spot prices right now are strictly higher and always higher than the contractual one, and it shows clearly from my point of view that the balance between the offer and the demand is not here. That we have a strong demand, we have strong demands from the shipper side in France and in Europe, and we have a weak offer. Weak in the sense of the number of drivers that are here, the number of offers that a shipper for one demand, the number of offers are quite low right now on the market, and of course this drives also the prices up here.
Just trying to answer a question regarding the 100-based index. The 100-based index starting as January 2019. This is the only reason why we have the same point, and it starts at 100. This is the only reason why. It's not a trick. The reason is because the base of our 100 index is January 2019. Hope it's answering your question.
Now we have. I just picked two new corridors that we have. the France to UK and UK to Great Britain, sorry, France to Great Britain and the reverse. We see over there it's quite clear the impact of both the Brexit and the COVID, but here it was mainly linked with the Brexit, with a very high increase of prices both ways, basically. Then it tried to adjust a bit, but if we look at the global trends, it was around 100, 110, and he went up to 140, almost 50. So an increase of about 40% of the costs. And then if we look at Germany to Spain, I choose this one over there. Why? Because there are some points that are interesting between the two countries, and there is one point that is very important also in Germany, where we have a strong the German economy after the COVID was was booming. The requests and the order books for the industry were full, and we had a very strong recovery of the economy with very high demand in terms of transportations. And so we saw the prices to go to Germany or coming back to Germany that increases. And here I choose this specific relation because also we have questions with Germany, and we'll see it in the next slide. What might be the impact of the Ukrainian conflict and the Russian conflict, and specifically regarding the gas, on the German economy? That is one of the key drivers of the European economy. And some economists say that if Germany choose to not use the Russian gas in the coming months, 2023 might be a recession economy for Germany. Germany might enter in recession and so have a decreasing GDP that can be up to minus 5% of decrease. So this is also a point that is important and that might have an impact on these curves. Alors, too big to follow, we will talk a bit about the outlooks for 2022. These one and these main points that you see here are available on our outlooks that is over there. This part here is available. I mean, this article is available on our website. For now, this is for free, so you can directly download it. Just need to put your email on it. It will be in the following days. You will need to be a member of Upply and to have a subscription. But this is specific for this webinar, so feel free to have a look at it if you want. But in brief, very briefly, what we see is that first, the GDP of Europe is expected to grow in 2022, and it might be the case also in 2023, depending on many factors. But we have growth. We have also a growth that is expected for the road part and the road freight transportation in Europe. This is the point 2 of about 4.4 increase per year up to 2025. So this is an expectation from the European Commission, from Transport Intelligence, also that is our partner. So we have increase in demand. We have increase in shipper demand, basically, companies in Europe. But we have many aspects that shows that we don't have the same increase in offer in terms of road transportation offer. And here we have what we call a principle of stagflation in economy. That is a kind of problem. Stagflation is when you have inflation of prices, but with a stagnation of the productivity, or a stagnation, not growth, basically. So here we have some insights regarding the shortage of equipment. It's quite complex today to buy a new truck. If you order a new truck, you will have it probably by the end of 2023. We have a driver shortage, and this is even more the case with what happens in Ukraine, where we have driver shortage, of course, of Ukrainian drivers, but also freight drivers in Poland or in Romania, in certain close countries. So it has this kind of impact, and we see it, and we have some customers in Germany that are telling us that they start to feel it. And so here we have offer that will increase, but not that much, and demand that will continue to increase. So clearly we expect prices to still going up in Europe. The price of diesel, the price of fuel had an impact on that. But even if the price of fuel will decrease a bit and start to come back at level that are more acceptable, there is this point that is quite important when we are very high demand and quite low offer. Then we have the point 4, the mobility package. A lot of you are asking us these questions. Of course, it's a kind of complex to see exactly the effects. The mobility package begin mainly at the beginning of this year, in February of this year. The effects are quite unknown right now, but what the European Commission once again anticipates is that the effect of the mobility package will have an impact about 7 to 10% increase in the cost of transportation, mainly for Central Europe and Eastern Europe. Of course, this will have an impact also on all Europe, but the 7 to 10%, this is the figures that comes from the European Commission, and that might be something quite realistic. I will then go to the point 5 and 6. Point 5, of course, is what about decarbonization in everything? And we know from shipper side also that they have a strong request to hit their targets of decarbonization on the global way, and transportation is one way to hit it. Of the carriers see requests, or the freight forwarders see requests from shippers asking for electric trucks, for gas truck, and everything as a cost, of course, and changing the trucks as a cost. And so it might have also a strong impact on the prices. And finally, I just want to put the point 6 here, because this is something we don't see that much right now, that we don't see in the global magazines or the global economic paper, is that the automotive industry today is still in crisis. We don't have all the big companies, the big automotive companies that are building again 100% capacities of cars or of trucks. And just a figure is that the automotive industry represents about 15% of the global road transportation volumes that are freight in Europe. So if we say that today the automotive industry, that is a big driver also of the global supply chain, is not at its maximum, and that let's hope for them that by the end of 2022 or 23, it seems better, and that they start to increase the productivity once again, it might add a new demand on the global supply chain, a new demand on the global road transportation, and once again, this might have a strong impact on the prices.
We have a good question regarding the prices. The question is, the prices are expected to rise. Do you expect road freight contracts to be shorter duration, an increase in contract rejection, or other behaviors?
Yeah, sorry, it's a good point, and I will make the parallel with the sea freight. In the sea freight, this is almost the same price, not almost the same. The prices, if we see between Asia to Europe, went from 3,000 to 15,000. So it was the multiplicator was a bit higher. But right now, many shippers and small and medium shippers are asking for long-term contract, and are asking for 2 years, 3 years contract if possible. What we see from the data that we have is that it's good. They have this contract, but they're paying a very high price for this contract. And as we saw it for the past weeks, prices are starting to go a bit lower in the sea freight, and so they're paying a bit higher compared to the spot prices. So the question is really this one. We know from shippers in road transportation that they prefer to have a 2 years contract, a 3 years contract, but sometimes spots might be interesting. This is not the case right now, for sure. and people consider the spot only for real spot requests where they need to have something that was not planned need to go. So it's a mix. The answer is quite difficult. Of course, as a CFO or as a sales a buying person, I want to secure at least my capacities. And of course, with low capacities on the market, you want to secure it. But at which price? This is the question. Just a quick, this one will be quite quick because we already talked about it in the past webinar, but regarding Russia to Ukrainian conflict, of course, we know all the impacts regarding the oil, the gas, the aluminium prices. Aluminium prices is quite important also. The increase of aluminium is quite high. And if we think that we know that aluminium is also an important key in the production of truck. So it means that the cost of truck will increase, plus the cost of oil, the cost of AdBlue. I mean, we need to, this is also a key driver also on the different global prices. I won't talk about the driver shortage. We already done it. There is a strong impact also on the rail Silk Road, and this is linked with the global supply chain. China have invested a lot in Ukraine to have a way. One way of the Silk Road was to go by Ukraine. This is not the case anymore. This is not possible. So we need to find other ways. There are other ways, but via Belarus, for instance, which is not that good also at the moment. So from Turkey maybe, and this also has an impact for the global shippers that you might be. And I will directly shift to the next one, because the big question, and here I'm not talking about road transportation anymore, but what is happening in China right now, it's a kind of issue also for Europe in terms of supply chain. You all know that, but Shanghai port and airport are under lockdown. In April 11, so some days ago, one of the major ports of China reduced the flight by 50%. We have the port of Nanjing that is completely full, and with some restrictions that start to happen again. So shippers are coming to us and to all the actors of the supply chain, and including the freight forwarders, to ask questions regarding how can I optimize my network? Do I need to put more stocks close to the final customers? And here, this has a strong impact also regarding the logistic costs, the cost of a warehouse. And all these questions, and this is more a big opening for the end of the webinar, but we see impact, we see prices that goes up in road transportation, in sea freight, in many transportation. We have this congestion problem in China. We have it in the US also. So many shippers are asking questions regarding how to put the goods. Do we produce in Europe or not? This might have also an impact on road transportation. We are in years, last year and this year are still years where lots is happening, and we need to keep focus on what exactly is happening. This is our target at Upply, to produce data, to see what is happening on the market, and to try then to take the best decision and to find the best answers. And finally, I will let Damien talk a bit more about what we will do at Upply. And please, here, this is an open point in the sense that we have also ideas, but if you have others, or if you think that something is missing on the market, please feel free to comment, because of course, it will be a pleasure for us to do it.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Thomas. Indeed, our roadmap is constructed regarding the customers' behavior that we are looking, or the question that we have. So feel free to just put your question or suggestion in the comment section. And we still have a few minutes regarding the question at the end of this webinar. We will stay in order to answer all the questions. Regarding the roadmap, in March, our solution Smart had two production. We did a few release in production. It's regarding it's more robust, more strong regarding our data. So we think that we are best regarding all the prices we are displaying on our websites. The more to come is regarding the spot versus the contractual rates. Indeed, we are trying by the end of May 2022. We are planning to release a new feature in order to, on the road Europe transportation, making the distinction between all the spot rates and the contractual rates. Sorry about that. It will be displayed on our benchmark tool and in our Smart Scan tool available in API as well. This is really important because it's a feature that our customers are expecting. One other news is regarding 18 new road freight index in Europe. So it means that as of today, we have a lot of indexes available on our website. We are keep receiving new data in our database. We are aggregating our data, and then we are trying to produce new indexes every month. As of we say this April or May, we will release 18 new road freight. It's regarding mainly countries to countries. So let's say Spain to Germany, for example, but also inland indexes as well. We are also working and thinking about doing a European diesel price index. And as Thomas said, this is ideas that we have. It's not available as of today on internet. We have data regarding this information, and we want to construct a new index regarding maybe a pan-European index regarding the diesel price, or maybe region to region within Europe. This is the idea that we have. So if you have a suggestion or if you think it's a good idea, you can just put a comment. We will be happy to have your thought about that. And another one feature that we are working on is making the distinction between adding dangerous goods regarding our benchmark tool. So it means that you can now do a benchmark, but you cannot in Europe for the road freight do the distinction between what is dangerous goods and what is not. The reason is that as of today, we did not have enough data, and now we have a lot of data regarding this feature, and so we want to display it on our website.
Yeah, good. I see one question regarding deglobalization that is quite good. I will answer to this one just after. Feel free, of course, to pose questions. I think that we have also others in the discussion. Maybe we cannot see it, but let's see for the end. Just regarding the price, the diesel price index, this is a point where we have a lot of requests from shippers because, of course, some countries have their internal prices. We have the CNR, for instance, in France, and others in other countries. But as many shipments are trans countries or between countries, between Spain to France and maybe Germany, it's quite good to have sometimes, and especially when the price increases like today and maybe the following months, we need to have this kind of pan-European diesel price or between countries, and we are working on that. So if you want to be a beta tester, or if you want to have the first release of these indexes, please feel free to reach us. And finally, regarding the deglobalization, this is the index of deglobalization is a good one. We don't have it today. I don't know. I don't have knowledge of something like that on the web. We know from shippers that some clearly are thinking about putting their factory in other countries in Europe to avoid the costs of the sea freight, to avoid also the timing of sea freight. Today, if you are importing from Asia, you know that First, it was 3,000 euros. Now it's 15,000 euros, but it was also 2 weeks, and now it's 40 days or 45 days. And sometimes you don't know even when the container will come. So all these points make some of the shippers to think seriously about putting their warehouse and their factory closer to the final customer.
We have a question regarding the plans to have a UK domestic index. As of today, it's not part of the 18th road freight index that we will ship into production this month, but we can work on that, that's for sure. We have to be sure before displaying all this information that we have good data on it.
Yeah, we see also that there are questions regarding what are the other features that are available on the website. On the website, we will contact you to have a demonstration, and if it's not the case, we will then send you an email for you to directly book a demonstration with us. But very briefly, all this information, you can have access to the website directly via a benchmarking tool that is quite easy. You can use it via a formulaire where you say origin, destination, and then type your specific transport, and then receive the dispersion of prices. You can do it also via an Excel file. You can do it via API, and you have access to the website also where you can directly get the indexes that you can see on the website.
If you want a demo, you can just go on upply.com and book a demo. You have a big button right here, and it's only 20-25 minutes, I would say. And you can book slots in our timetable in order for you to get maybe more specific demonstration regarding your needs.
Alors, Sébastien, yes, we will get you in touch to talk about the road freight index for all the countries. We have something that is kind of like that, so we will get contact with you. Then can we use it in Middle East? No, you cannot. You can do it for air freight and sea freight, but not for road transportation.
Yeah, and regarding our transparency, it's really important to say that it's a value that we are really proud of at Upply. So it means that every time we are displaying a data on our website, we are also providing a confidence index. It means that in order to answer your question regarding Middle East, you can try. Regarding air freight and sea freight, we have a lot of data, so we are confident. Regarding road freight, at the moment, indeed, you cannot. And even in sea freight and air freight, when you're gonna use this feature, you'll have a confidence index. If it's A, B, C, it means that we are really strong on this lane, particular corridor. Or if it's above, it means that we have a little bit less of confidence regarding this information.
Yeah, and just thank you, Frank, also for the CO2 part. We didn't mention it over there, but we have also a CO2 emissions on the website. But the link that you provide might be interesting also. We will get in touch with you to discuss about it.
Yeah, indeed, we are actually calculating CO2 emission regarding particular lanes, but we do not have at the moment indexes regarding this information.
Yeah. And yes, of course, just to finish, because we are a bit late on the timing, but all the slides will be sent to the participants, the one that registered. So no worries for that. You will receive it. You will receive it from either Damien or myself. So you will have also our email. Please feel free to contact us if you have any questions, additional questions. I think we tried to handle all the questions. I don't know if we have missed some of them. If it's the case, sorry for that. And if it was, if you think that this webinar was interesting, we will do it. We'll try to do it more often, and to try to do it also in air freight or sea freight quite regularly.
Thank you very much for your time. Here are our mail address, so feel free to contact if you need so. Go on upply.com in order to book a demo if you need so as well. And thanks for your time. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.